Teresa from Mexico. I'm really happy to be a part of Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia. Please join us.
Dan ini luar biasa dari mulai penyelenggaraan, kemudian dari pembicaranya itu luar biasa menarik dan menyenangkan.
Itu menginspirasi banget buat saya, terutama bagi para anak muda yang ingin pengen mulai sebagai salah satu usaha, dan itu keren banget. Dan yang kelima ini harus diikuti.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Selamat malam para entrepreneur yang ada di Indonesia dan juga ada beberapa yang kita saksikan di sini. Ada beberapa juga dari luar negeri juga. Selamat datang, selamat bergabung di dalam Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia yang kelima. Yang diadakan ini adalah hari pertama. Hari ini tanggal 15 Agustus adalah hari pertama dan ini kita sudah masuk ke dalam session yang ke-6. Di dalam topik entrepreneur FAQ yang kelima adalah Change or Die. Kali ini kita akan kedatangan speaker dari luar negeri, dari GrowthWheel tepatnya, yaitu kita datangkan khusus untuk membahas bagaimana mengoptimis suatu bisnis agar bisnisnya kita itu bisa fokus di dalam satu area pembenahan supaya kita bisa mempermudah para pengusahanya untuk bisa bertumbuh. Dan kita nanti akan hadirkan satu speaker di sini yang pastinya adalah founder dari GrowthWheel itu sendiri yang akan mempresentasikan bagaimana sih untuk GrowthWheel yang bisa membantu Anda di dalam perkembangan bisnis Anda. Hello, Entrepreneur Indonesia. Tonight we're gonna have Entrepreneur Indonesia Festival, the 5th Entrepreneur Indonesia Festival. Tonight we're gonna have a speaker from abroad. This is David Mehdi, from founder and CEO GrowthWheel International Incorporation. And the topic for today is optimize your business growth with GrowthWheel. Okay, can we have David now live? Okay, hello David.
Hello Ronnie, how are you?
Fine, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Okay, tonight we're gonna have a presentation from you, very good speaker in international. So David, we're gonna talk about GrowthWheel and how it can help many entrepreneurs in Indonesia to grow their business with GrowthWheel, especially. Okay, so the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. And I will try to share my screen here. It seems to be working. So thank you so much for the opportunity to present. And I'm excited to be here with a large number of entrepreneurs in mostly Indonesia, I guess, but also from all over the world. And I think maybe it's the first time in history that all companies around the world are facing exactly the same challenges in every country on earth. And even if you are a very small business where you are just yourself, or if you are a business with maybe some partners or family members, or if you're someone who has a company who may have 10 employees or maybe even more. Everyone is facing the same challenge now, which has been crystallized with the theme of this conference, Change or Die. Everyone is facing changes right now, and as owners and managers of our business, we are faced with the fundamental question: what are the decisions we need to make now that are different, and what are the actions that we are supposed to take? I think right now entrepreneurs fall into three groups. There are some entrepreneurs, and I'm sure many of you, who find themselves in a crisis. The way that you used to do business have been changed. You may have lost revenue. You may have lost clients. You may have lost supply channels and completely have disrupted your business. You are faced with the choice of closing down the business, maybe starting a new one, or to change. and find a way to make use of some of the assets and some of the relationships that you may have been building for a long time. But there's also another category of entrepreneurs right now, which can be called accidental entrepreneurs, someone who didn't plan to be an entrepreneur, but now they are. And maybe some of you in this conference right now had a job just a few months ago, but that job no longer exists. So you decided that you want to start a company from scratch. And now you became an entrepreneur without even planning to become that. And then here at this conference, maybe there's a third group of entrepreneurs whose business is actually going well. Maybe your time has come. Maybe you're offering a digital product. Maybe you are selling a service or a product that everybody needs right now, whether it's home gardening tools or whether it's medical equipment or anything like that. So we have those three groups all over the world in all countries. Someone who's in a crisis, someone who's starting from scratch, and someone who may have been blessed and fortunate to have unprecedented opportunities for growing a company. Now, all of them face the same challenge: to make decisions and take action. And what I'm going to do today is show you how you can use GrowthWheel as a visual checklist, as a tool, a thinking tool, to figure out how you can make decisions in your business, no matter who you are. The checklist is a circle that looks like this. It divides the decisions you need to make into 4 different areas. And you know them very well. There's nothing new about them. They are the same no matter what industry you are in. Maybe you're selling, importing, or exporting a product. Maybe you have a service business where you provide services from hairdresser.
Can you give me time to translate it?
Yes, I certainly can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Please continue and make time for me to translate.
Excellent.
Okay. Please continue first.
Okay, I will continue. So I should speak slower, Ronnie?
Yeah.
Or take some breaks maybe so you can catch up?
Yeah.
I can do that. All right.
Okay.
So the 4 challenges that you have in your business.
Ini adalah 4 tantangan yang ada di dalam bisnis Anda.
And which are the same. They are really the same for all businesses, all industries, all life stages, early start or established, and even all sizes of companies.
Dan ini juga sama untuk di segala jenis industri, di dalam setiap tahapannya dan semua ukuran yang ada.
So no matter if you have a restaurant, a technology company, or a shop, you have these 4 challenges.
So, jadi apapun yang bisnis Anda, restoran, teknologi, apapun itu, semua tantangan yang ada bisa kita hadapi dengan menggunakan namanya GrowthWheel.
They're no surprise to anyone. They're the 4 basic building blocks of any business.
Tidak ada sesuatu kejutan untuk siapapun juga bahwa ada 4 yang dasar untuk bagaimana membangun suatu bisnis.
The first challenge that all businesses have is to create an attractive business concept, something that somebody wants to buy.
Ya, tantangan pertama di dalam suatu bisnis adalah membuat suatu konsep bisnis yang menarik supaya orang mau membeli bisnis dari kita.
A product, a service, a technology, something that creates value.
Ya, produk, suatu jasa, sesuatu yang menambahkan, yang menciptakan suatu nilai.
So you need to make decisions about how you can create this.
Nah, kamu harus membuat satu keputusan bagaimana cara untuk membuat ini.
Or change the business concept you have.
Atau merubah konsep bisnis yang kamu punya.
Create value in a new way, launch new products.
Membuat satu nilai dari suatu produk yang baru.
Or services.
Atau jasa.
Change your price. Maybe you need to have a higher price. Maybe you need to have a lower price.
Mungkin Anda bisa meningkatkan dari harga Anda atau bisa menurunkan harga Anda.
Maybe you need to find different clients in your city, outside your city, in another province, in another country.
Mungkin Anda bisa mencari kliennya di tempat lain, bisa yang ada di dalam satu kota atau di kota yang lain juga.
Maybe you need to look at the competition and learn from them, see how they are going through the crisis.
Mungkin Anda juga harus melihat persaingan bagaimana cara mereka untuk bisa menghadapi yang di dalam krisis ini.
But even if you have already a great business concept, there's another challenge.
Walaupun Anda bisa menghadapi itu semua, tetapi akan ada tantangan lagi yang jauh lebih besar.
You have to also build an organization that can deliver this concept.
Ya, Anda harus bisa mempunyai suatu organisasi yang kuat untuk bisa menyampaikan konsep bisnis ini.
You need to make decisions about who should be the owners of the business. Only yourself, your family, with other partners, or maybe with investors.
Nah, mungkin di dalam perusahaan Anda itu hanya untuk keluarga, teman-teman, atau ada juga para investor-investor yang ada di sana.
Maybe you decide to just do it by yourself, but then another decision is to get employees, full-time, part-time, maybe freelancers.
Oke, mungkin Anda bisa mengerjakan itu sendiri, atau Anda bisa mempunyai suatu karyawan yang bekerja secara part-time, atau bisa bekerja secara penuh waktu, dan mungkin juga Anda bisa meng-hire orang-orang yang pastinya perlu untuk di sana.
Or maybe you have no employees, but you enter partnerships. You already have partnerships with banks and accountants. Maybe you partner with graphic designers, suppliers, or many other companies.
Mungkin Anda berpartneran dengan seorang akuntan, perbankan, atau siapapun juga yang bisa di dalam bisnis kamu.
A part of building a strong organization is also that your business processes are working.
Nah, di dalam membuat suatu organisasi tersebut, pastikan bahwa bisnis tersebut juga, organisasi tersebut bisa berjalan.
We all have business processes. Maybe we have written them down, or maybe we just remember how we do things.
Ya, mungkin di dalam suatu proses bisnis itu kita hanya mengingatnya, atau mungkin juga kita sudah menuliskannya.
If business processes work efficiently and smooth, we can better make money.
Apabila di dalam bisnis proses tersebut sudah baik, maka kita akan bisa mendapatkan suatu uang atau hasil yang ada di sana.
As an owner or manager, you can also better delegate work to others if your business processes are well defined.
Sebagai seorang pemilik, Anda juga bisa mendelegasikan ini supaya bisa bisnisnya berjalan dengan baik.
And lastly, building a strong organization also includes having the right legal foundation.
Nah, pastinya untuk membuat suatu organisasi yang baik harus berdasarkan dari dasar-dasar hukum yang juga baik juga.
This means agreements with everybody you work with, from customers, suppliers, employees, and having the right legal structure for your company.
Ya, ini juga berarti adalah suatu perjanjian yang dengan supplier, dengan juga istilahnya customer, dan juga dengan siapapun juga yang ada di dalam bisnis tersebut.
Also, a legal structure so you can protect yourself if things eventually go bad.
Nah, dengan adanya struktur hukum tersebut bisa membantu Anda di dalam bisnis proses tersebut.
Now, even if you have a great product and you have a great team of people, your revenue can only come from one source, the customers.
Ya, walaupun Anda bisa mempunyai suatu produk yang baik ataupun jasa yang baik, Anda bisa mendapatkan itu semua dari customer, dari pelanggan Anda.
So the third challenge you have is to create lasting customer relations.
Jadi, tantangan yang ketiga yang Anda hadapi adalah bagaimana membangun hubungan dengan pelanggan-pelanggan Anda.
This includes to do networking and meeting new potential customers.
Nah, ini berhubungan juga bagaimana Anda bisa berjejaring dan bertemu dengan pelanggan-pelanggan yang baru.
It includes making marketing materials like websites and brochures and business cards.
Nah, ini juga berhubungan dengan bagaimana Anda melakukan suatu istilahnya pemasaran, Anda membuat satu kartu nama dan lain-lain, berikutnya juga dengan website.
It includes selling, whether you are calling clients, you're writing emails to clients, or you're visiting clients, writing quotes to them, and negotiating.
Nah, ini juga berhubungan dengan bagaimana Anda bisa menelpon customer Anda, bisa Anda menuliskan suatu proposal, Anda mengunjungi, supaya mereka bisa mau berhubungan dengan Anda.
It also includes giving service to the client so they keep coming back to your business.
Nah, ini juga berhubungan dengan bagaimana Anda melayani supaya mereka tetap akan kembali kepada Anda.
Getting customers also involves being in the media, being in social media, so that you are seen on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other social media sites.
Nah, bersama dengan pelanggan Anda berarti Anda juga ada di dalam sosial media, bisa di Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, dan lain-lainnya.
And it includes creating a brand for your business, not just a
Dan
company name and a logo, but a brand.
nah, ini juga berkaitan bagaimana Anda membangun suatu merek, bukan hanya suatu logo, suatu hal-hal yang berkaitan dengan yang cuman biasa saja di sana.
Your brand is your image, your reputation, what people say about you.
Merek Anda adalah bagaimana reputasi itu bisa dibangun, persepsi orang lain terhadap bisnis Anda.
Now, even if you also have a lot of customers and strong customer relationships, there's one last challenge.
Walaupun Anda sudah mempunyai pelanggan yang baik, tapi Anda tetap pasti akan mempunyai satu tantangan lagi.
And that is to make money and be profitable.
Nah, itu adalah menghasilkan uang dan bagaimana itu bisa menguntungkan pastinya.
Some businesses have great products and great people and great customers, but they're still not profitable.
Nah, ada beberapa hal yang bisnisnya baik, bisa berhubungan dengan pelanggan dengan baik, tetapi tidak menguntungkan.
And you must be profitable and make money so you can get paid for your work and you can invest in the future.
Nah, berarti di dalam bisnis Anda harus bisa menguntungkan supaya Anda bisa mendapatkan uang, supaya Anda bisa menginvestasikan lagi buat di masa ke depan, supaya bisa menjadi lebih baik.
So you need to make decisions about how you spend money.
Jadi Anda harus membuat satu keputusan bagaimana Anda harus menganggarkan uang.
You need to have a good accounting system so you understand where you make money and where you lose money.
Nah, Anda harus mempunyai sistem akuntansi yang tepat bagaimana supaya apakah Anda itu menghasilkan uang atau Anda malah menghilangkan uang.
You need systems to collect money from the customers so they pay you on time.
Anda harus mempunyai suatu sistem di dalam suatu bisnis Anda supaya bisa Anda menghasilkan uang di sana. Anda bisa mendapatkan uang.
And maybe to make money, you first need to make an investment. So you need to borrow money.
Nah, mungkin di dalam Anda bisa mendapatkan uang, Anda mungkin seharusnya di awal bisa untuk meminjam uang di awalnya.
You could borrow from your own savings. You could borrow from a lender or a bank. Maybe you can borrow money from family members who believe in your investment.
Nah, mungkin Anda bisa meminjam itu mungkin dari uang Anda sendiri, mungkin dari perbankan, bisa juga dari saudara-saudara yang percaya untuk investasi di dalam bisnis Anda.
Being profitable also includes using technology.
Suatu bisnis yang bisa menguntungkan juga pasti akan melibatkan namanya teknologi.
Think about how efficient you are when you're using WhatsApp instead of a typewriter.
Pikirkan bagaimana Anda bisa menggunakan secara efisien untuk WhatsApp dibandingkan Anda menggunakan mesin ketik.
You may still remember when you used to type up on a typewriter, put a letter in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and send it in the mail.
Nah, mungkin Anda masih ingat bagaimana Anda mengetik di suatu mesin ketiknya, taruh di dalam amplop dan juga menstempelnya juga di sana.
Using digital communication increase your productivity with 500%.
Menggunakan teknologi digital akan meningkatkan bisnis Anda sebanyak 500%.
But that's just chat and email. There's so many other technologies that can do the same for you.
Itu hanyalah dari chat dan email. Belum ada lagi teknologi lain yang bisa membantu Anda jauh lebih bisa meningkatkan lebih banyak daripada itu semua.
Like selling your products on a web shop.
Nah, bagaimana Anda bisa menjual produk Anda di dalam suatu toko yang ada di web?
Like using technologies to get your message out in social media.
Bagaimana Anda menggunakan teknologi supaya Anda bisa menggunakan chat di dalam namanya sosial media.
In fact, for all these areas in GrowthWheel, there's technology that can help you do things better and faster.
Nah, di dalam GrowthWheel ini akan bisa membantu Anda untuk bisa mengerjakan secara lebih cepat dan lebih baik.
So what GrowthWheel does is to break down these 4 challenges into 20 focus areas.
Nah, GrowthWheel akan membedah dari 4 tantangan tersebut menjadi 24 fokus area yang ada di sana.
So you always have a 360 view of your business.
Anda bisa mempunyai 360 derajat persepsi di dalam bisnis Anda.
And that's how we get the GrowthWheel framework that looks like this.
Nah, inilah kerangka kerja dari GrowthWheel yang ada.
This is just a checklist in a circle with colors on.
Ini adalah suatu daftar untuk Anda melihat di dalam bisnis Anda di dalam GrowthWheel.
It shows all the things I just talked about.
Ini menceritakan segala sesuatu yang tadi sudah disampaikan oleh David.
It reminds you that these are decisions you have to take in your business.
Ini mengingatkan Anda keputusan yang harus Anda buat di dalam bisnis Anda.
And you see that you know everything already.
Dan Anda bisa melihat semuanya ada di dalam sana.
You have a business idea, you have some products, you have a revenue model, the way you make money, you have customers, and you have a position in the market to the competitors.
Ya, Anda mempunyai suatu bisnis di sana, ada pelanggan, dan ada juga pesaing-pesaing, dan apapun yang tadi diceritakan ada di dalam konsep GrowthWheel ini.
And in the red area, you already have an ownership with yourself or maybe your family. You have staff, partnerships, business processes, and made legal agreements.
Nah, di dalam warna merah, Anda bisa melihat di sana ada ownership, ada juga untuk karyawan, ada juga bagaimana rekanan kerja, bisnis proses, dan juga bagaimana hubungannya terhadap hukum.
And in the green area, you are already doing networking. You're already making marketing materials. You are selling, you're on social media, and you have a brand already.
Nah, di dalam yang warna hijau, Anda sudah melakukan. Yang itu bagaimana cara Anda berjejaring, bagaimana Anda melakukan pemasaran, penjualan, pelayanan, komunikasi, dan juga bagaimana Anda membangun suatu merek.
And in the blue area, under operations, you already spent money and have accounting systems. You do have some monies you have invested in the business. You have a production system, IT systems, and you have facilities that you must manage.
Nah, di dalam warna biru, Anda bisa melihat bagaimana Anda mengatur namanya keuangan Anda, pendanaan Anda, bagaimana produksinya, bagaimana IT-nya yang ada di sana, dan bagaimana fasilitas-fasilitasnya.
So the question for you now is, since you already know these areas, and since you already have made decisions in all of them,
jadi pertanyaannya ketika Anda sudah mempunyai ini semua dan Anda sudah menjalani ini semua, maka ada pertanyaan di sana.
Where is your next decision?
Apa keputusan Anda berikutnya?
Should you come up with a new digital product?
Apakah Anda harus mulai dengan suatu produk digital yang baru?
Should you enter new partnerships?
Apakah Anda harus memasuki rekanan baru?
Should you start using new technology?
Apakah Anda harus menggunakan teknologi yang baru?
Should you use social media in a new way?
Apakah Anda harus menggunakan sosial media dengan cara yang baru?
Should you get financing? Should you learn from competitors, etc., etc.?
Apakah Anda harus mendapatkan pendanaan dan lain-lainnya?
So, GrowthWheel doesn't tell you what to do.
GrowthWheel akan membantu Anda untuk mengatakan kepada Anda apa yang harus dilakukan.
But it helps you figure out where you should focus.
Nah, tetapi ini membantu Anda di mana Anda harus bisa fokus.
And we highly recommend that you as a small business get a business advisor that you can have a conversation with about this.
Nah, kami merekomendasikan untuk Anda mempunyai suatu namanya penasehat bisnis untuk bisa mengembangkan bisnis Anda.
A business advisor can help you look at the alternatives.
Seorang business advisor, seorang penasehat bisnis akan membantu Anda untuk melihat sisi lain dari bisnis Anda.
Business advisors have worked with hundreds of companies.
Penasehat bisnis ini bekerja dengan lebih daripada 100 perusahaan.
They have seen all the different ways that you can make decisions in businesses.
Mereka melihat berbagai macam cara untuk bagaimana menjalankan bisnis tersebut.
And they can show you these alternatives.
Mereka bisa menunjukkan kepada Anda alternatif-alternatifnya.
And if you work with a GrowthWheel certified business advisor, they will have tools for everything that they can give to you and you can work with.
Nah, apabila Anda bekerja dengan orang yang sertifikasi di dalam GrowthWheel, maka mereka sudah mempunyai kerangka-kerangka kerja ini yang bisa diberikan kepada Anda.
Let me show you an example of a GrowthWheel tool that we use with GrowthWheel.
Di sini akan diperlihatkan bagaimana GrowthWheel bisa membantu Anda dengan kerangka kerjanya.
It's very simple.
Ini sangat mudah.
This decision sheet is called product mix. It's about finding ways that you can expand your product portfolio.
Decision sheet ini adalah bagaimana Anda melihat suatu product mix yang di dalam bisnis Anda.
It shows that in any business, there's at least 4 different kinds of products or services you can have.
Ini menunjukkan di dalam bisnis Anda ada 4 hal yang bisa dilihat di sini.
You may have an introductory product, something small or cheap that the client can start buying at a low price.
Anda mungkin bisa mempunyai suatu produk perkenalan yang mungkin itu murah dan itu mungkin sebagai jembatan untuk masuk pertama kali dengan pelanggan Anda.
Or maybe it's a product you give away for free.
Atau mungkin Anda bisa berikan suatu produk itu untuk sesuatu yang bisa diberikan secara gratis.
This will make the client interested in your other products.
Ini akan membuat pelanggan Anda mungkin tertarik terhadap produk Anda yang lain.
And you may have some core products. Maybe you have 4, 8, or many more.
Anda mungkin juga punya produk-produk yang inti atau produk-produk unggulan yang bisa Anda tawarkan 4 atau 8 ataupun lebih.
But in addition to your core products, your basic products, sometimes you can also have an add-on product, something extra the client can buy.
Oke, selain daripada produk-produk yang inti, produk-produk unggulan Anda mungkin mempunyai produk-produk tambahan lain yang mungkin Anda bisa tawarkan kepada para pelanggan Anda.
Maybe some businesses actually make most of the money on the add-on product.
Mungkin pelanggan Anda bisa lebih banyak membeli terhadap produk tambahan Anda.
Yes. So maybe if you buy a cup of coffee, the coffee shop will ask you, would you like some sweets with your coffee?
Apabila Anda membeli kopi, kadang-kadang orang penjual kopinya akan bertanya untuk membeli tambahan yang lain.
And perhaps they make most of the money from the sweets or most of the money from the coffee.
Nah, mungkin mereka bisa mendapatkan tambahan lebih banyak dari kue daripada kopinya itu sendiri.
A business can also have a flagship product or the most expensive, the largest product they can offer.
Nah, suatu bisnis mungkin bisa mempunyai suatu produk yang unggulan yang istilahnya yang bisa menghasilkan lebih banyak keuntungan di sana.
In a restaurant, this is the full menu. Starter, entree, dessert.
Oke, di dalam suatu restoran ini adalah suatu menu yang paling lengkap dari pembukaan, dari mulai makanan inti dan juga sampai makanan penutup.
In a consulting company, it might be a 6 months consulting project.
Di dalam suatu produk untuk konsultasi, ini adalah 6 bulan paket untuk konsultasi.
Or if you are selling cars, this is the largest Mercedes you can get.
Apabila ini dalam bisnis mobil, ini adalah bisnis untuk pembelian suatu produk mobil Mercedes yang paling besar.
So not everybody's buying it, but when you have a flagship product, people may see it and buy some of the smaller products instead.
Nah, apabila Anda mempunyai suatu istilahnya produk-produk yang unggulan atau produk-produk yang Anda tonjolkan, mungkin orang tidak membeli langsung produk unggulan tersebut, tetapi dia bisa membeli produk-produk lain yang lebih kecil ataupun yang lebih terjangkau.
This is just an example of a tool.
Ini adalah suatu contoh dari alat-alat yang dipunyai.
A tool that helps you think about your business and make decisions.
Ini adalah untuk membantu bisnis Anda dan untuk membuat suatu keputusan di dalam bisnis Anda.
And when you work with a business advisor, they will help you with tools like this to make decisions about your entire business.
Apabila Anda bekerja dengan para penasihat bisnis, mereka akan memberikan Anda suatu alat-alat untuk bisa membantu Anda di dalam bisnis Anda.
Businesses fail when they spend their time on the wrong things, and they succeed when they spend their time on the right things.
Oke. Bisnis itu bisa gagal apabila mereka fokus terhadap hal-hal yang salah. Yang seharusnya kita lebih fokus hal-hal yang lebih tepat di dalam bisnis tersebut.
So the first thing you have to do is decide what should you focus on.
Nah, hal pertama yang harus Anda lakukan, bagian fokus area yang mana yang Anda harus kerjakan saat ini.
Then you need to make decisions and take action.
Maka Anda harus membuat satu keputusan dan melakukan satu tindakan.
Whether you are in a crisis in your business, whether you're starting from scratch, or whether you have opportunities right now, you need to make decisions and execute them.
Apa bisa jadi Anda di dalam suatu krisis, ataupun Anda mulai dari awal, ataupun Anda sedang mendapatkan suatu keberuntungan di dalam masa-masa tersebut, Anda tetap harus membuat satu keputusan.
It's the only way to grow a business.
Itu adalah satu-satunya cara untuk bisa mengembangkan bisnis Anda.
So this was a little short introduction to GrowthWheel.
Ini adalah pengenalan singkat terhadap Anda, apa itu tentang GrowthWheel.
If we have the opportunity to take questions, I would be happy to answer any questions you have about your own business or about GrowthWheel.
Apabila Anda ada pertanyaan, maka David akan menjawab untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan Anda, baik itu tentang GrowthWheel ataupun tentang bisnis Anda, apapun.
And then I wanted to wish you good luck with your business.
Nah, dan saya juga ingin mengucapkan semoga beruntung di dalam bisnis Anda.
Entrepreneurs play a very important role in society.
Pengusaha itu memegang peranan penting di dalam kemasyarakatan.
You play an important role for your family because you can sustain them with your income.
Bisa mendapatkan suatu penghasilan juga yang berdampak jangka panjang.
But also when you create jobs, you help create economic development in society.
Apabila Anda menciptakan suatu pekerjaan, Anda juga bisa menciptakan namanya untuk perkembangan di dalam perekonomian.
Many entrepreneurs bring innovation to society, new ideas and new ways of doing things.
Banyak juga para pengusaha yang menciptakan juga inovasi di dalam hubungannya juga dengan masyarakat.
And sometimes a crisis is the best time to create change.
Saat krisis tersebut adalah saat terbaik untuk bisa melakukan perubahan.
Thank you very much.
Terima kasih. Baik. Thank you, David, for your presentation. So we're gonna have some maybe of the question from the participant, and you can answer it. Okay, let me check for the question. Okay, that's from Liwa. Can I see the question? Okay, David, this is a question from Liwa. David, do you write a book about GrowthWheel? How to understand more deeply about GrowthWheel, since I don't think this presentation will not enough for us.
Yes, Liva, it is certainly not enough. It is very much an introduction. So the way that we make GrowthWheel available is we train and certify business advisors all over the world. So we have GrowthWheel certified business advisors who bring these tools out to entrepreneurs in more than 60 different countries around the world. We also have our first partner in Indonesia, which is Dia Yusuf, and she has also been translating GrowthWheel into your language in Indonesia. So the answer to your question is that the way to get your hands on GrowthWheel and learn more is to speak to some of the GrowthWheel certified business advisors who are experts in using the tools and sharing this information. They will be able to share written articles. So we have something in writing, and we have many ways to study GrowthWheel. So I recommend that you speak to your GrowthWheel certified advisor in Indonesia. Dia is the first in Indonesia, but we certainly hope to have many more as we have in other countries. Around the world, there is over 3,300 GrowthWheel certified advisors, and we are only just getting started in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, David. I think Liwa understand already. Okay, I have a question for you. Can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. There's so many business coach in Indonesia, but what is the difference business coach from business advisor in GrowthWheel?
Yes, that is a great question. And you may also say, what's the difference between a coach, an advisor, a consultant, a mentor? And
Yeah.
I think that the way to give advice is on a spectrum. On one side, some advisors or consultants will make solutions and they will tell a business what to do. You can pay a consultant for this and they will do the work for you and make a solution. And businesses do that. They acquire expertise from people who know about marketing, technology, financing, and so on. So that might be what advisors are doing and what consultants are doing. Then on the other side, you have a coach. And a coach doesn't tell you what to do. A coach will guide you and help you so you can better make your own decisions. So most everybody who is using GrowthWheel are actually coaches. They don't provide the solutions. They provide the questions, the structures, the tools, so that business owners themselves can make the decisions about their own business. That would be my answer to that, Ronnie.
Okay, thank you. Is that what you mean, that full package consultancy? That like you have the coaching, full package of consultancy?
I think that both a coaching process and advisory process can take place for a long time. I think the coach is the better option, because a coach will really empower you. So you learn how to run your business instead of just buying someone to run it on your behalf, as a consultant would do. But it's a gray area. In real life, sometimes you're coaching, sometimes you're giving a little advice, but we certainly recommend for small businesses that engage with a coach. The coach will give advice from time to time, but you become stronger if you run your business and don't just hire someone to provide their knowledge. You need the knowledge yourself. You need to have a 360 view. You need to master all the disciplines of running a business yourself.
Fantastic. Thank you, David. There's some other question from Reza Syarif. Sometimes in my organization, we confuse between choices between grow, maybe this is grow for the employee, recruit, and develop. Which one we have to choose?
Yes. So you're talking about either growing employees or recruiting employees or developing the employees. Yes. Recruiting and growing the business with new staff is one of the most difficult things of running a business. It's also one of the most expensive things. When you hire a new person, it's a big cost for your company, and maybe many of the participants today have not even recruited anyone yet. They are just running the business by themselves. So I think, Reza, that every time you hire, you need to make a simple calculation. What's the salary and cost and all the costs for a new employee? Maybe they need a computer. Maybe they need office space. Maybe they need software licenses. And look at all the costs of an employee, and then see what is the value that the employee can bring back, and is it a good investment? The same if you are going to grow your employees or maybe develop your employees by training them. It's a cost. If you as a business owner are going to spend time with your employees, you take time away from selling and making money to pay the salaries. So there's also a cost for training. So you need to look at it and see, this investment, will it give a return? It's hard to say. Sometimes you don't know. You have to trust your gut feeling sometimes, but also make an informed decision. I think one of the important things in this calculation, in this estimation, is that if you hire new employees, do they help spend time so you can save time? Because if a new employee can save you just 1 day a week by doing things you are doing now, maybe they can be selling, maybe they can be doing accounting, maybe they can deliver the product that you're delivering. And if they save you 1 day per week, maybe that's enough, because you can take an extra day and you can grow the business. So if new employees can relieve you from some of your work, and you can take the time and grow the business with that, it's a good investment. Whether you train somebody to do your work or whether you recruit new people to do your work. I think many owners and founders underestimate the value they can create if only they had more time. That would be my answer.
Okay. What do you think about hijacking, David?
About
Hijack employee from other corporation. Hijack,
high tech?
hijack, yeah.
Hijack.
Hijack.
Headhunt. Yes. Well, employees will change from time to time. They will leave your company, and that's another problem. You invest in recruiting somebody, you train them, you get into all your things, and then they decide to work for another company. And sometimes it's the other way. There will be people in other companies who decide to work for you. So I think we have to accept that this is the natural way of business, and it's the right of any employee to work where they can develop the most, where they can get the best salary. So you have to make sure that your business is an attractive place to work. You have to have management skills, and you have to have interesting work. You have to provide your employees with challenges. That's the way you are a good manager. And even if you try, sometimes you will lose employees, and sometimes you will hijack or headhunt from other companies. It's the natural way of business, and the best company get the best employees.
Yes, thank you, David. There's another question from Redia Krishna Rista. For small medium company, which one is more important in this COVID-19 pandemic situation? Hiring new team for marketing offline, hiring team, or build digital marketing team?
Yes, Redia, the answer is all of those things. You have to do all of it, and you have to do even more. It's not enough to hire a new team for marketing or build a digital marketing. You also have to innovate your products. You have to manage your money. You have to develop your employees. You have to rebuild your brand. You have to monitor the competition. In fact, if you look around GrowthWheel, you have to do all of those things. That's why you are so busy. But you can't do everything at once. So the question is not whether you should do these things or not. You should do all of them. The question is, what should you do first? So maybe you need to build that digital marketing team first, or maybe you need to do something else. You have to decide, and you may make a better decision if you get a business advisor who can show you perspectives and coach you. So you make the decision, not the advisor, but you get some coaching. You can also ask other entrepreneurs that you know, what would you do if this was you? So you collect a lot of information so you can make the right decision about what to focus on first.
Is there any rule of thumb in GrowthWheel to maybe the best option for this pandemic situation?
I think every business is different. It's really hard to say. Someone who have a restaurant needs to do a delivery service. Someone who is doing music lessons as a teacher have to create videos. Someone who can't get products from their suppliers needs to either start manufacturing or research other suppliers. Someone who doesn't have enough revenue needs to expand their customer portfolio and start approaching customers in new markets in Indonesia and new markets abroad. So it's very, very individual what you have to do. The rule of thumb is that you have to do something. You have to execute. You have to understand your choices. Try things out. Sometimes you will fail. Hopefully then you can change and do things again. So
your answer is
really individually. Every business is different.
Okay. Yeah. So your answer is depends on the business.
It does.
Right? Okay.
It does. Yeah.
Okay. There's another question, David, from Rina Haruna. from 360 degrees perspective that you have shown before, if we have to focus for one area, what condition we must consider for what area to focus on?
Yes. And sometimes it's good to focus on just one area, one thing at a time. What is the most important? And what we do with GrowthWheel, I think, am I still sharing my screen? Yes, I think I am. So I just want to show here. Yes, I'm still sharing my screen here. That if you go to a GrowthWheel certified advisor, one of the things you can do is do a GrowthWheel 360 screening. And that's where you make an assessment of yourself in all these areas from 25% to 100%. So you really try to get an overview and see where is the area where you have the most room for improvement. Where's the area where there are low-hanging fruits that you can quickly turn into a benefit for your business? So with GrowthWheel, we make this 360 screening, and we try to see how good are we doing when it comes to our product? How good are we doing when it comes to marketing? How good are we doing when it comes to partnerships? And no business is perfect. There's always room for improvement almost everywhere. But when you look at things with a holistic 360 perspective, you may identify the one area where you feel you can do the most if you spend your time on it. That's how I think you have to make it an intuitive decision. You can't read in a book what to focus on. You can't calculate in a spreadsheet what you should focus on. You have to have conversations with your team, maybe with your family, with your board, or maybe with a business coach. And after you had this conversation, you're going to go, it's going to be social media first. Or, I need to change my product first. It's the only way. There's no book with answers. There's only a process for you to come to the right conclusion and try it out.
Okay, thank you, David. There's another question from Dianti Arudi. In your experience, which one is more impactful, coaching or training?
I think it can be both, but if I had to choose, I would pick coaching.
Coaching.
I really think that the dialogue about your business with another person, especially a person who's not in the business, but someone who comes from the outside and looks at you with a different perspective, is very, very valuable. And there are many organizations who offer coaching for free. Now, sometimes before you're ready for coaching, you need to learn the basics. Then you will get more out of your coaching. So I think training is a stepping stone to get the most value from a coaching session. So if you read and learn about something, you will just take more advantage of your coach. Imagine you were learning to cook and you knew nothing about cooking. Then you can come in and a chef can teach you how to cook basic things. But if you already have a certain level of knowledge, you can take so much more advantage of the experience of the chef. Now, that's going to be the same with a business coach.
Okay. I have another question from you for you. Is there any different delivery method in GrowthWheel when business advisor advise to their client about maybe there's a small company, maybe there's a large, big company, medium company. Is there any different delivery method in GrowthWheel?
Yes. So in the outset, all the areas we see in GrowthWheel are the same for everyone. Some of you who are here at the conference, you are starting a business from scratch. And let's just look at it again. If you are starting a business from scratch, you will find that you need to decide what you need to do first. Do you need to find a business partner? Do you need to make a product? Do you need to make a logo and a company name? So that will be some things to focus on, maybe for a new business. But if you're a business that has been existing for 5 years or longer, you may find that you're going to work on exactly the same things. You're going to make a new product. You're going to make a better brand, and so on. And even for a large corporation, sometimes a large corporation is going international. Maybe they start exporting to the United States or Europe. They need to make a different brand. The brand might be very Indonesian. And if you start doing export or sell a digital service to the world, you need a brand that works in the whole world. Maybe you need to change your product so it can be used in other countries and so on. So the areas that you work with would be the same, whether it's a very small business or new business or a large business with many employees. But of course, the details of the decisions are different. The alternatives that you have would be different. So I think, Ronnie, the answer is that the advisor or coach would use their expertise to modify GrowthWheel to the individual company. GrowthWheel is not a standard process that everybody goes through. The skilled coach will know how to adapt the tool to the particular situation. You're a little bit frozen for me, Ronnie, right now. Yes. I see you now again.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Maybe for the internet connection. Okay. Thank you, David, for your wonderful presentations. So we're gonna have one more speaker from GrowthWheel. I will introduce one more speaker from GrowthWheel. Is Hilton Tunisian as VP Business Development, GrowthWheel International Incorporation. Thank you, David, for your time. And this time, the stage is yours, Hilton.
Yes, I think we just can continue the dialogue. If David can come back, Ronnie, we're going to have a dialogue about that. So, is he back? Yes, there we go. And it's a pity. It's a real pity that that Dia is not here. I know she's somewhere at the back. You know, it's David is sitting in New York. I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa, and this is just so beautiful that we are able to participate with you guys in this annual celebration of entrepreneurs in Indonesia. And it's wonderful that Dia took the decision, you know, to get GrowthWheel certified, and she did this on our live academy platform, as well as join on other business advisors from around 17 countries at the time to get certified. And this was about a month ago, David, 15th of June, 16th of June. You know, Dia, if you can sign in, it'd be great. But essentially, you know, as Dia has explained, you know, there's about 1,000 coaches and business advisors in Indonesia in your ecosystem, and the objective is that we are able to help entrepreneurs as an ecosystem, you know, grow their businesses. We have an African proverb that says it takes a village to grow, you know, a child, right? And so in the business world, it takes a collaborative ecosystem, business advisors, mentors, coaches, local economic development departments, incubators, accelerators, higher education, you know, to collaborate and help the entrepreneurs grow. And so with our cloud platform, for example, you guys have multiple islands in Indonesia, and it's so difficult to get to one another. And so what we've been able to develop with our cloud platform is that you're able to share a particular client with a number of business advisors. Dia, in record time, David, you know, translated GrowthWheel from English. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, because she wants to make it accessible to everyone in Indonesia. And of course, we have a bigger ambition to grow throughout the Asian network. But one of the things that I felt, which is very critical for us to, to perhaps touch on, David, is how do you use your growth plan during this particular period to help you build resilience? We've gone through this. Ronnie, I have never asked you kind of what business you're running and what you're doing. But, with GrowthWheel, we've developed a crisis management tool. I've made this available in the chat, on the YouTube chat, where people can download. And really, this particular time, it's important that you sit with your business advisor and then make decisions based on certain scenarios. And the toolbox that we have just really gets you focused on making those decisions. The answer to what is the right and the wrong decision, that we only find out once you've taken action on those things. And in business, you can get 1,000 wrong decisions, but we only get that one decision if we take action on those things. Anything you wanted to add on that, David?
Yes, I think it's great that you shared our crisis management tool for everyone to see. It's a way to get a feeling for how it is to work with visual tools. And I think if anybody feels that, it sounds great to make decisions, but I don't know what to decide, you're in the same situation as everybody else. It's very hard. For example, let's take an example, a simple decision. Should you increase your prices or should you lower them? You may think, well, if I increase my price, I can be more profitable, so I can buy equipment and hire people. But if I increase my price, then maybe I will lose my customers. Or if I lower my price, I will get a lot of new customers, but then I won't make so much money. And I may end up actually losing money, even if I get a lot of people buying a product at a price that is too low. And when it comes to social media, you have so many choices. Should I spend my time on Twitter, on Facebook, or should I make blog posts? Should I make videos? Is anybody going to see it? Maybe nobody sees it, and I'm wasting my time. Or maybe they see it, but it doesn't convert to actual clients. So I think if you feel that it's hard to make those decisions, that is how it is. And no tool can come in and give you the answers. So what Hilton is talking about here is also that we have to experiment, and we have to try things out. And I think particularly when you're in a crisis, and this is one of the things our tool is talking about, is that you can sometimes find yourself doing nothing because you don't know what to do. So I really think that anyone who is in a crisis, or even a company that is going well but are hesitating to make decisions, you need to find a way to make small decisions and try things out. Maybe you don't have to hire a full-time person. You just hire someone for a couple of hours. See what happens. If it doesn't work, you stop. Maybe you try to increase your price with some customers and you see what happens. And if it goes well, you can go on. Or you lower your price for certain customers and you see if they start buying more. So a lot of the time when we don't have the answers, we have to experiment. We have to try things out in a small way, see what happens, so we get smarter and can make smarter decisions based on our own experience.
Yeah. This particular time, like, we all face the same challenges globally, Ronnie, with the pandemic. And I think when we come out of this over the next decade, one of the things that Dia and myself and the ecosystem, in particular Indonesia and Asia, talk about is the sustainable development goals. And I think, what we do know, in fact, this was mentioned by OECD and others, is that small businesses are going to create the economic recovery that we so much require in our different economic worlds and countries, right? And I was just wondering, David, how have we over the last decade, together with our partners from 63 countries, and of course we've covered different languages, how have we kind of worked towards that? And what are we able to contribute within to the Indonesian ecosystem to support the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes, you're right, Hilton. It's sometimes an overlooked fact that it's actually small businesses that creates economic development in society. You think that it's the large corporations that have 5,000 employees, but actually, instead of one corporation with 5,000 employees, you create more economic development with 5,000 small businesses with one employee. Because the likelihood that those 5,000 are going to hire one more person is higher than the corporation hiring 5,000 more people. In fact, the corporations sometimes cut jobs to be more efficient. So in all countries around the world, it is small business that creates the jobs. It has been documented and researched. There's no controversy about it. It's an absolute fact. And that's why governments in all countries and municipalities, cities, provinces, and states all invest large amounts of money in small business by offering support and guidance and advice. And they recruit and hire business coaches, business mentors. They make incubation programs. They fund and support conferences like this. It's a large part of government budgets to invest in this. And maybe you have seen during the crisis also that government have decided to increase investments. It happened in many, if not all countries. I'm not familiar with Indonesia, but I would guess that there's also been additional funds allocated to small business. So I think we are very fortunate as a company to be in that space and support that process. So while governments can recruit coaches and hire staff, they can make incubators and they can create facilities and workspaces and all these things. They can produce a vast number of books and materials and learning. What we as a private company and as entrepreneurs could do is to deliver a software platform. And that's what is our contribution. We help the ecosystem be more productive. We just talked about how technology can make us 500% more productive. And what we try to do is to have all these government organizations and even business advisors who are private consultants, make them more productive. Because if the advisor and coach is more productive, if they have the right tools and technologies, they can help entrepreneurs create the economic development that society needs. So I think that, Hilton, that I think would be our small contribution to the ecosystem, that we make the cloud-based software that makes everybody be a better advisor, be more productive, and serve more clients. Because when there's so many who needs it right now.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think this is the fifth festival of Festival Entrepreneur in Indonesia. In fact, some people introduce Dia to me as the mother of entrepreneurs in Indonesia, and then she was talking about the ecosystem that exists there, and of course how the pandemic and of course lockdown has almost halted the work that they've been able to do. And then I think one of the things that we do know globally is that we are able to make better decisions when we have access to first-party data. And that first-party data come from you as an entrepreneur, because you know your customer, you know your ambitions, and of course, you know where do you want to grow, right? And how to run a profitable business. And I think, that is one of the things that we, again, feel contributes to, keep your hands on the deck, right? And making decisions based on data. And you were talking earlier about, when do you, I think you answered somebody, when is it better to employ somebody or to go and, headhunt somebody? And we've built a tool, a feature recently. We released it last month, the budget, right? On those kind of investments. So it makes things a lot easier for you. We don't have time to show that, but we have webinars that you are able to come and join us for free and see more about that. And of course, Dia will help with the localization. Yes. Anything you want to add there?
Yes, I think what you talked about is that about basing advice on data. So everyone who's here now and think, well, I think I want a business coach. That sounds great. And especially great because you may be able to get it for free. And I think what you need to see then is you also have a responsibility as an entrepreneur to help your advisor help you. So you can't just show up and say, tell me what to do. You need to provide data for your counselor. And that doesn't have to be really complicated. There are many systems for that. We have a system to inform an advisor about your business and create a business profile online where you just put in the facts about your business. So you need to see, if you're working with an advisor, that as an entrepreneur, you have a responsibility to share information. The more information you share with your advisor, the better advice they can give you. You have to be transparent with your financial information. This is not a secret. You can trust your business advisor. They can't run with that information. They're not allowed to do it. They have an ethical, legal responsibility to protect your data. But we know that many entrepreneurs are so afraid to share their secrets or share the bad stuff. And I really think it's a good advice for anyone to see you got to be transparent. Help your business coach to help you by providing them information about your business, your financials, like Kilton said, your goals, your ambitions. What is it that you want to do? Even if it's unrealistic, even if it's a very small goal, you don't have to tell a coach that you want to conquer the world. But if you do, that's fine. You don't have to, or you don't have to feel bad if your only ambition is just to make 10% more in your business. That's a lot. That could change things for you and your life. So anything is okay with a business coach. So be transparent and find the best technology to share that information. You can take a look at GrowthWheel. We have something that makes it easy to make a business profile, but you can also write it up in a Word document. The most important thing is that you help your coach help you, and you take responsibility for that relationship. It's both parties who needs to contribute so that you together can grow your business for your sake and for the sake of your community, your family, and the Indonesian society.
Yeah, Ronnie, I think there were some questions. Maybe if you...
Okay, there's some question from Republic Mentor Indonesia. I will read that. Leader is a reader. Sometimes we meet leader with poor reader qualification. Reading is it is only just read the book, but also read the situation, environment, and behavior market. Is there any idea? Maybe I think the question is how to read the situation, environment, and behavior market for the leader. Is there any tools from GrowthWheel can help the leader, the business owner from the company to read the situation, environment, and behavior market?
Yeah, I think it's first of all, what a great play of words. Leader is reader. I really like that.
Yeah.
So that is a nice way of looking at it. And we just talked about the importance of information. And reading is not just an actual book or a blog or something like that. It's also reading the situation. And I think what we have learned from working with advisors for 12 years is that the best business advisors look at things holistically. They read everything. So, for example, someone who would not do that would just look at the financials. Just look through the financials, look at the cost structures, look at the margins, look at the cash flow, look at the funding, and they would give advice based on that. That is not a bad thing, but the better thing is to see the financials as just a component in the rest of it. What is your value proposition, for example? How do you really create value for customers? And maybe you can't see that in the numbers. No matter how many financial numbers you have, budgets, accounts, charts, graphs, everything, you can't read the real value proposition. On the other hand, if you have a coach who only focuses on value proposition and reads your value proposition and understand it and have ideas, you can't do that without looking at the financials. And even if you do those two things, you got to think about the staff. Who are the people who are going to deliver this and make it happen? And then you need to think about how do you communicate it also to the clients. You can't just have a great value proposition and nobody knows about it. So again, you see a holistic view. Whether you are using GrowthWheel or you're using any other tool, I think that to be a reader means to be a reader of the whole situation. So we would recommend a 360 view as an approach that you should take as a mentor or as a coach or as an advisor, and find out how you can best have that holistic picture, so you can give really deep advice that looks at root causes, not just symptoms, and understand the relationship between the many moving parts in a business.
Yeah, you know, we also have articles. So our toolbox consists of 6 tools that business advisors generally use, and our advisors around the world tells us that the articles really helps with just opening up people's thinking. We've taken different topics, for example, the blue ocean theory, and put that in a very condensed kind of 3-page article that advisor can share with his entrepreneur, and you can just read through those. And again, when you read, you must read for your ambitions. Don't waste time on things that doesn't relate to your business, and you can only do that by defining your ambition. So if you know those ambitions that you want to achieve, you read content that's relevant to that ambition, so it can help you make decisions and, of course, take action. But always measure your outcomes. And if some of those outcomes is the Sustainable Development Goals, you always link your ambition back to you reverse engineer, and you continuously go around and go around. GrowthWheel is an open framework, so you're able to plug in any other tools, any other content, to enable you to make the right decision. It's not the only tool that you use.
Okay, nice answer. Very good. Maybe we can call Mrs. Dia to have here for. Very good. Maybe we can call Mrs. Dia to have here for. Yeah, Mrs. Dia.
Ya, it's a very interesting discussion ya, teman-teman. Ini cukup menarik diskusinya. Jadi GrowthWheel itu diciptakan oleh David dan saat ini sudah digunakan di hampir 57 or 67 country ya, Hilton, right now. Dan
60.
Indonesia, 67. Wow, how fast? Because when we are talking, it's just 57, right? So now it's already 67. Is how fast. Jadi GrowthWheel begitu cepat berkembang dan Indonesia menjadi negara ke-55. We are in the 55th country, right? Sebagai sebagai partner dari GrowthWheel. Kenapa saya ambil GrowthWheel? Karena saya lihat memang banyak business advisor di Indonesia yang mungkin masih diperlukan penguatan platform. Gitu kan. Jadi platform GrowthWheel akan membantu teman-teman business advisor, teman-teman coach untuk bisa membawa kliennya berpikir lebih global juga ya, karena ini sudah dipakai juga di tadi 67 country. Kenapa saya bawa GrowthWheel? Jadi saya ketemu David ini tahun lalu di Cairo pada saat di ICSP conference. So I met David in Cairo last year ya. Then I really interesting with GrowthWheel. Just for your information, this festival is already 5th year. So before that, I really get along with the development SME in Indonesia. That's why Hilton also said that mother of UKM, atau di sini dipanggil emak ya, emak UKM gitu. Karena saya lihat memang platform ini cukup menarik. So David and Hilton, we want to develop our SME better because Indonesia is promising. Many analysis from credible point of view say that Indonesia will be the next growth economy, even the top 10 in 2030. You can check in the internet. This is one of the reason why Indonesia Prima choose partnership with GrowthWheel International. So jadi ini satu alasan saya kenapa memang mengambil GrowthWheel untuk bisa membantu teman-teman semua di Indonesia untuk berkembang. Dan I see we are talking about the SDG. Tadi kita ngomong tentang SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. Analia already joined us, so the session after this is Analia. But before we close this session, I would like to invite Analia to say hi to the audience and also to David and also Hilton. Jadi Analia ini dari New York ya, teman-teman. Hi, Analia.
Hi, hello, Dia. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, David, too.
So, do you met David in New York? I informed David about you.
What do you say?
Did you already meet David in New York?
David, no yet in Egypt.
Okay.
We've been in Egypt.
Okay, so you must have a meeting after this. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. So we are discuss about how growth will also be part of the SDG to boosting or to alignment between SME and also SDG. So GrowthWheel now should have a module for that. So for the SDG ambition. So this also good as a Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia connect two of you and making maybe a module for SDG for SME using a GrowthWheel platform.
I see David is busy on his computer because I think he might show it to you, right? We have thousands of ideas, and those comes from our partners, right? It comes from some 100,000 entrepreneurs around the world. We have on our cloud platform, you can simply click, make a suggestion, and there's plenty of ideas. And over the last year, we've been talking about the Sustainable Development Goals. Of course, we have a series, Dia, for social and green type businesses, and so we have that. But I think, you know, as we look at the Great Rethink or the Great Reset and the UN SDG decade of action, you know, 2020 till 2030, there's a lot of new thinking that needs to happen. And so I've encouraged our teams that we press on and move on the SDGs very quickly. But in our partners globally, you know, we think that we cover all 17 SDGs through our partners, and ourselves, we cover 5 core ones. And one of the ones that we particularly focus on this year is, you know, women entrepreneurship and women business advisors, right? And as we know, and part of a critical component in the SDGs is that, you know, gender diversity, you know, those kind of challenges, that we elevate that through our work. And as GrowthWheel, we know we strongly focus on that, not only globally, but also quite actively in the developing countries. For example, in Africa, out of the 1.2 billion citizens, 62% are women, and more women start businesses than men. And so, you know, in your country, I figure, you know, is more or less the same. And so that equity and, you know, component is something that we really need to focus on globally as an ecosystem.
Yes.
Well, regarding that, I think that I've always explained in the SDGs like hashtags in social media that connected us, partners, organizations, people around the globe, especially in terms of globalization, that we are all connected. And these SDGs, they work like hashtags in public policies. They give us the opportunity to connect each other more quickly and to work all together. And so if we say, okay, my organization is working SDG 5, I'm going to make a connection with partners, for example, in Indonesia, that they are working SDG 5 too. And in terms of the huge amount of organization and the enterprises globally, that give us the opportunity to have this hashtag, this global hashtag to do this connection. But the main issue also is how, as entrepreneurs, we could implement the Sustainable Development Goals in our business strategy, in our core business strategy. And I think that's our main goal as a social enterprise. We are working in Latin America, especially trying to to help the entrepreneurs to work and implement the Sustainable Development Goals, and how sustainability is really growing as an agenda. We saw that in Davos, and it's really, of course, through the climate change crisis and also with this pandemic, it's something that we need, all of us, we need to work on that.
Okay, Analia, please hold on, yeah.
Yeah.
Because, we will detailing SDG after this GrowthWheel session. So sorry to put you back in the backstage. See you again. See you later.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, so back to GrowthWheel. Jadi teman-teman, memang ini satu platform yang cukup menarik. Nanti setelah ini, ya bersama juga Coach Roni, terima kasih Coach Roni sudah membantu David untuk mentranslate apa GrowthWheel ke dalam bahasa Indonesia. Nanti setelah ini nanti kita akan adakan khusus workshop untuk GrowthWheel sendiri, jadi tidak bercampur dengan apa Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia, karena seperti tadi disampaikan bahwa tidak cukup hanya dalam 2 jam untuk mengupas lebih jauh mengenai GrowthWheel, karena GrowthWheel punya 20 fokus area. So I said like this, in this moment we cannot completely to have about the GrowthWheel, because GrowthWheel have around 20 focus area. So after festival we will have like a standalone workshop, and we will introduce what the GrowthWheel and also experience it by experienced by the participant to use GrowthWheel by themselves. So after this festival, we will have a schedule for a workshop. So maybe I will invite you again in next workshop about the GrowthWheel only. Begitu mungkin Roni?
Iya, mungkin bisa saya tutup dulu kalau gitu.
Ya.
Oke, baik. Terima kasih teman-teman semua sudah bisa bergabung dengan kita. Thank you, David. Thank you, Hilton, for having you here for your wonderful presentation. And we already got your idea, wonderful idea. Maybe it can, not maybe, it will help the entrepreneur in Indonesia to grow their business. Oke, thank you teman-teman semua. Saya akan mengembalikan ini semua kepada panitia. Yang pastinya di dalam sesi ke-6 ini kita berharap bisa membantu teman-teman semua yang ada di Indonesia, para UKM yang ada, dengan platform GrowthWheel tersebut yang bisa mengembangkan bisnis Anda jauh lebih cepat dengan adanya tools 360 derajat perspektif yang lebih ada fokusnya dan bisa Anda lihat per satu-satu fokus area. Terima kasih semuanya, saya kembalikan lagi kepada panitia.
Yes, thank you. Selamat malam.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Roni, David, and also Hilton.
Berkibarlah bendera negeriku, berkibarlah engkau di dadaku, tunjukkanlah kepada dunia semangatmu yang panas membara. Daku ingin jiwa raga ini selaras dan keanggunan. Daku ingin jiwa ini menuliskan kata selalu. Berkibarlah bendera negeriku, berkibar di luas nuansamu, tunjukkanlah kepada dunia ramah tamah budi bahasamu. Daku ingin kepada langit ini Tunjukkan dirimu kepada dunia dan torehkan warnamu di dalam dada.
Berkibarlah bendera, berkibarlah engkau di dada. Tunjukkanlah kepada dunia semangatmu yang panas membara. Bangsa yang menangkan kita
Berkibarlah bendera negeriku. Berkibarlah engkau di dadaku. Tunjukkanlah kepada dunia semangatmu yang panas membara. Teguh ini jiwa raga ini selaras dan keangguran. Ini gemariku ini menuliskan karismamu.
Hi, I'm Carlos Dehesa from Mexico. I'm really happy to be a part of Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia. Please join us.
Dan ini luar biasa dari mulai penyelenggaraan, kemudian dari pembicaranya itu luar biasa menarik dan menyenangkan.
Itu menginspirasi banget buat saya, terutama bagi para anak muda yang ingin pengen mulai sebagai salah satu usaha, dan itu keren banget. Dan yang kelima ini harus diikuti.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Apa kabar nih teman-teman ya? Semoga selalu dalam kondisi sehat walafiat dan juga dalam tetap semangat terus ya. Coba sebelumnya boleh diinfokan dulu nggak nih ke kita, itu teman-teman ada yang berasal dari mana aja, sekaligus sekarang nih sedang menjalankan usaha apa, atau ada yang baru ingin menjalankan usaha? Coba boleh ditulis di kolom komentarnya. Oke, ada yang berasal dari mana atau sedang menjalankan usaha apa? Boleh di-sharing. Oke, mungkin kita akan langsung aja ngobrol tentang topik kita. Itu ada dari Mova dari Depok. Alhamdulillah, semoga Mova selalu dalam kondisi sehat walafiat ya, dari Depok sudah hadir. Oke, topik kita malam ini adalah tentang how implementing SDG in SME, atau bagaimana cara untuk mengimplementasikan SDG atau Sustainable Development Goals, atau tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan khususnya di dunia UKM. Nah, buat teman-teman yang Bilal asal Bali, Assalamualaikum, semoga selalu dalam kondisi sehat ya, tetap semangat. Nah, buat teman-teman yang belum tahu poin-poin SDG itu apa aja sih, dan juga seperti apa contohnya bisnis yang selaras dengan tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan. Nah, kali ini kita akan menghadirkan pembicara dari mancanegara untuk menambah wawasan kita, lalu untuk membuka mata kita kepada dunia serta belajar bagaimana mengimplementasikan SDG khususnya di dunia UMKM Indonesia. Nah, sudah hadir narasumber kami yang terhormat, yaitu ada Miss Analia Pasran dan juga Miss Romona Guan. Mungkin bisa langsung di-invite. Halo, Mbak Kasia dan juga Mbak. Halo, Miss Romona Guan.
Hi. How's everything?
Hello, we would like, everything's good, I hope. Okay, hello, we would like to welcome to Miss Romona Guan to our 5th Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia. So, how are you?
Fine. This is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to hear that even in this pandemic condition, right?
Yeah, true. It's really cool and abundance too. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, we would like to say thank you for attending our 5th Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia. It is an honor to having you as our expert speaker in the topic of SDG or Sustainable Development Goals. So let me introduce myself first as a host for tonight. My name is Razi and I'm from Indonesia, of course. And I'm the co-founder of Competence. We are serving for training, consulting, and business, especially for SME. So that is very related to our topic tonight. Very interesting. So could you just introduce yourself to the audience, because they might be not knowing you that much, but for me, I already know you, even just a little bit as a speaker for SDG. Okay, so can you start? And maybe I'll translate to Bahasa just in case some of our audience don't get the point. Is it okay?
No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for inviting me to share Taiwan experience. I am Ramona, 100% made in Taiwan, MIT. So I am founder of Share for Impact. I'm really honored to be invited by IAP to join the 5th Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia 2020. And give me this opportunity to share Taiwan experience. I'm also a startup too, and it's not easy this year, definitely. Yeah, thank you.
Oke, jadi teman-teman, ini adalah Miss Romona Guan. Dia ini adalah salah satu founder dari Share for Impact. Dan juga dalam kondisi ini tentu jelas bukan suatu hal yang mudah, tetap juga sebuah tantangan. Nah, oke, kita langsung ngobrol ke topik. So, we'll talk about our nice topic for tonight, about how implementing SDG in SME. So could you give some small presentation about how implementing SDG in SME? So
yes, no problem.
Okay.
I think the slide is there already.
All right. And maybe I will, you can start to speak slower and clear so I can translate to Bahasa just in case, the audience, for the audience.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I think next page. Okay, yes. Do you know what's the difference between BC and AC? BC means before COVID-19 and AC means after COVID-19. And
jadi teman-teman, mungkin teman-teman ada yang tahu nih BC dan AC ini itu artinya BC adalah before COVID-19 atau sebelum COVID-19. Dan AC adalah after COVID-19 atau setelah COVID-19. Okay, go on.
And I think this picture truly shows how we feel about the beginning of the year.
Dan dirasa foto ini sangat menggambarkan kondisi kita saat ini.
Yeah, we think that we already prepared for the 2019. All of a sudden, that the COVID-19 gave us a really big shot.
Ya, terkadang kita sudah menyiapkan segala sesuatunya dengan baik di tahun 2020, tapi ternyata kondisi ini sekarang menyerang kita tanpa diduga. Go on.
Thank you. The next page. And I want to share with you that Alan Watts says that the only way to make sense of the change is to join the dance.
Gerakan dunia dalam gerakan yang eksponensial, salah satu caranya adalah untuk berubah dan juga join the dance atau bergabung kepada perubahan tersebut.
And it's really nice that we can dance together, like Taiwan and Indonesia.
Dan ini sangat baik apabila kita bisa bergerak bersama seperti mendance antara Taiwan dan Indonesia.
Great. And next page, please. And the gift that I want to share with everyone is abundance.
Ya, dalam selanjutnya akan di-share tentang abundance.
Yeah. Because of the technology, I have the chance to meet everyone here and to share with you the Taiwan experience.
Dan terima kasih untuk teknologi yang bisa men-share pengalaman dari Taiwan kepada teman-teman di Indonesia sekarang.
And I also believe that we all create a better world, start from better business.
Dan kita juga percaya bahwa kita bisa meng-create atau membuat dunia lebih baik dengan bisnis kita.
Yeah, and there are 5 points, 2 cases I would like to share with you all.
Dan ini ada 5 hal menarik yang akan di-share kepada kita semua.
Yeah. Next page, please. Number 1, 60 biggest market opportunity related to delivering the global goals. So SDGS really can create big market, and for you company to connect it to the world.
Jadi SDG atau tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan ini berpotensi untuk menciptakan sebuah market yang besar untuk para pengusaha dan juga para perusahaan.
Okay, number 2. Next page, please. Achieving the global goals open up an economic price that at least have USD 12 trillions by 2030 for the private sector and potentially 2 to 3 times. So this is not small money. It's a huge money that we all can see it and we can create it. Yeah.
Ya, dengan mengachieve atau mencapai tujuan global itu bisa mendapatkan sebuah hadiah yang kurang lebih 12 triliun dolar yang akan di tahun 2030 untuk sektor-sektor yang private dan bisa berpotensi 2 sampai 3 kali lipat. Go on.
Yeah. And number 3. The next page, please. 15 out of 60 markets hotspot in the 4 sectors, say systems viewed by commissions. There are 4 systems. One is food and agriculture, which is that Taiwan is so famous about food and agriculture. We have great technology too. And second is about city. How to have a smart city and save the energy is something that Taiwan also focus on. And our government also give a lot of subsidy to the entrepreneurs or the companies.
Jadi 15 dari 60 market ini merupakan sebuah hotspot yang ada di sebuah sistem ekonomi yang dapat direview by the commission. Dari yang nomor 1 itu ada food and agriculture atau makanan dan pertanian, lalu ada di perkotaan, energi dan materials, lalu ada kesehatan dan well-being itu kesejahteraan.
Yeah, and the most important thing is about energy and the materials. That especially the COVID-19, we start to have some new materials that can antivirus too. And for the health and the well-being, especially well-being, I think in the pandemic time that we all need to be really have the awareness how to taking care of ourselves and for the founders too, for everybody, that we have to keep our well-being at least okay, and to keep moving on and welcome the change.
Dan di saat pandemik atau kondisi COVID-19 seperti ini ada yang terbaru yaitu di bidang energi dan juga di bidang kesehatan, membuat kita lebih aware atau lebih perhatian terhadap kesehatan dan juga bagaimana kita bersosialisasi dalam kehidupan. Go on.
Thank you. Next page. Okay, so achieving the global goals in these 4 economic systems can create 380 million new jobs, and which is really important right now. And almost 90% of them will be in the developing countries.
Dan dengan mencapai tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan ini dalam di 4 sistem ekonomi yang sudah dijelaskan tadi, itu bisa menciptakan 380 juta lapangan pekerjaan baru di tahun 2030 dan hampir 90% dari ini adalah berada di negara berkembang. Go on.
And for many places that having affordable housing is really important. And I think probably in the future through a technology, we probably have 3D printing house, and which is that would probably affordable to buy the new house. Yeah.
Sorry, could you repeat?
I say that in the future, affordable housing is really important, and it is also create 70 million of these jobs. And continue.
Oke, di dalam masa depan itu affordable housing itu sangat cocok untuk di 70 juta pekerjaan yang akan ada di masa depan. Go on.
Yeah, the next page. Number 5, I think it's so important for SME to forecast the future. And first movers will have 5 to 15 years advantage. So I think it's really important for SMEs.
Oke, jadi yang topik kelima ini adalah yang paling penting. Jadi untuk pertama kali yang bergerak itu akan mendapatkan keuntungan mulai dari 5 sampai 15 tahun yang akan sangat bermanfaat bagi dunia UKM.
Next page, please. There are 2 cases I want to share with everybody.
Ada 2 kasus yang akan di-share kepada kami semua.
How the business can speak the same language from SDGS and solve the problems together with good deeds and intention. The world will be so different from now.
Sorry?
I mean, how the business can speak the same language from SDGS and solve the problem together with good deeds and intention. The world will be really different from now.
Oke, apabila kita semua bekerja bersama untuk mencanangkan SDG, kita akan bisa menciptakan sebuah impact yang positif bagi kita semua. Go on.
Yeah. So the company I want to introduce is Blue Seas in Taiwan.
Dan salah satu perusahaan yang akan ditunjukkan kepada kita semua adalah perusahaan Blue Seeds dari Taiwan.
Yeah, and they focus on that. They have 3 focus. One is they will protect the land and start to grow the natural herbs, and also provide the job opportunity for Aboriginals.
Dan tujuan pertama dari perusahaan ini adalah mempertahankan land-nya atau daerahnya, lalu meng-create atau menciptakan lapangan pekerjaan baru.
And their company is the social enterprise, and which is that they fulfill 11 SDGs. And so, please.
Could you repeat just more slower?
Previous page, please. Yeah, I mean, this company is a social enterprise.
Perusahaan ini merupakan perusahaan social enterprise.
And this company that they fulfill 11 SDGs.
Dan perusahaan ini sudah memenuhi 11 SDGs.
And their customers are big companies that they are doing CSRs.
Dan customer mereka adalah sebuah customer besar yang sangat peduli terhadap CSR.
Their product is zero chemical.
Dan produknya adalah bahan bebas dari bahan kimia.
No chemicals. And the most important thing is they co-create the social impact with their customers, their partners.
Dan produknya itu bisa memberikan impact yang positif kepada customer. Go on.
Yeah. So I want to. Okay, the next page, please. And we also have the technology to have antivirus face mask and the antivirus phone cases service.
Yes, go on.
And so those are all connected to the SDGs that we can solve the problems.
Dan produk-produk ini tuh sangat berhubungan dengan tujuan-tujuan dari SDGs.
And the next page. So our core value of share for impact is we care, we share, together we impact.
Oke, jadi core value dari yang dicanangkan oleh Romo Naguan itu adalah kita peduli terhadap SDG, kita men-share apa yang akan terjadi, dan juga kita memberikan impact untuk dunia yang lebih baik dan juga bisnis yang lebih baik. Go on.
Yeah, the spirit of social innovation is combining with the cutting-edge technology, innovations, and the science. Discover with the spirit of solving the social, environmental, culture, and economy common issue together.
Okay, go on.
And anyone who work toward the global goals of sustainable development have the opportunity to connect and create a better life.
Dan siapapun yang bekerja selaras dengan tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan akan menciptakan sebuah opportunity atau kesempatan untuk menjadi lebih baik. Go on.
We care SDGs can link with the company's core value.
Kita peduli bahwa SDG akan memberikan kerjasama yang baik terhadap perusahaan yang menjalankan.
We share what really matters can link with the branding.
Kita men-share apa yang akan berarti kepada sebuah brand.
Yeah, and we impact. Together can link with the better world and the better business.
Dan kita akan memberikan impact yang sangat baik untuk dunia yang lebih baik dan juga bisnis yang lebih baik.
And the next page, please. I think at the end of the day, it always people that we have power to make problems go away.
Dan di akhir sebuah hari itu semua orang akan memiliki kekuatan untuk menjauhkan sebuah masalah.
Thank you. Next page. And Taiwan can help, definitely.
Dan Taiwan insya Allah akan bisa membantu.
And welcome people today share what you have learned and contribute your own strength to the wider community.
Dan akan men-share apa yang akan kita tahu atau apa yang akan kita pelajari terhadap ke seluruh dunia.
Yeah, thank you. And the next page, please. And share for impact is share what matters and impact what matters. And I'm Ramona, and you are very welcome to contact with me through LinkedIn. And thank you for today. And if you have any questions, that you're welcome to ask me.
Oke, jadi ini adalah profilnya dari Miss Ramona Guan. Bagi yang tertarik untuk further information, itu bisa langsung menghubungi beliau di kontak yang ini ya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ramona Guan. Well, it's a nice chat, I guess. So, Miss Ramona Guan is a strong, powerful character of experienced founder with a demonstrated history of working in the education management industry, a strong business development professional, right? What a wonderful profile. Okay, so after this, maybe we'll calling up the Miss Analia Pasran, maybe?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Miss Analia Pasran. How are you?
Very good. Greetings to everyone.
Hi.
It's good to hear that.
Hi.
So, Miss Analia Pasran, I've been read your general overview journal about the International Council for Small Business, about the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by the United Nations in 2015, addressed the most pressing challenges of our time, such as climate change and COVID-19, social injustice, human rights, and economic growth. The SDG purpose is to stimulate everyone from governments, businesses, NGOs, citizens, and other stakeholders to accelerate actions that benefit the people and the planet by fostering action and partnerships at all levels so no one is left behind, which is very interesting. And of course, we'll talk about it later. So could you give some small presentation about how implementing SDG in SMEs? You can start?
Okay, yeah, you want me to start? I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
So maybe you can speak more slower and clear.
Yeah.
So because I have to translate in bahasa.
I know you're doing a huge effort.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I have some slides. Yeah, thank you so much. Please, the next slide. So I want to start from there. Well, the next one. Thank you so much. Okay, these are the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs from now on. There are 17, and it has 169 targets.
Go on.
They were adopted by the member states of the United Nations in 2015, as you said, and there are the first line are the Sustainable Development Goals that cover the necessities and the poverty, access to food, health and sanitarian system, good education. So the first line are related to every person.
Oke, jadi SDG ini adalah sebuah kumpulan dari 17 tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan yang berhubungan dengan satu, no poverty, itu adalah tidak ada lagi kemiskinan, lalu zero hunger, angka kelaparan, lalu good health and well-being, seperti yang sudah dijelaskan tadi, qualify education, lalu ada gender equality, dan clean water and sanitation. Dari line yang pertama ini merupakan sebuah general dari tujuan SDG. Oke, Analia, go on.
Okay, the second line I'll give us the opportunity to think about in terms of government. What are the public policies that we need to access a decent job, a good and clean infrastructure, access to clean energy, and having a resilient and sustainable cities, for example, like SDGs 11.
Oke, di line yang kedua ini akan berhubungan dengan sebuah sistem pemerintahan. Lalu yang bisa seperti yang dilihat, ada affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, ada industry, innovation and infrastructure, reducing inequalities, sustainable cities and communities. Dan yang ke-12 itu adalah responsible consumption and production. Oke, Analia, go on.
And the third line invites us to think in terms of globalization, making partnerships and achievement like actions to mitigate the climate change action like is the SDG 13.
Oke, jadi di line yang ketiga atau di baris ketiga itu lebih fokus kepada permasalahan global atau yang berhubungan dengan globalisasi yang akan berhubungan dengan kerjasama dengan berbagai pihak. Go on.
All of us, we can work the Sustainable Development Goals in our organizations, no matter if it's a public sector, private sector, or an academia, like an university and a school. All of us, we can teach and implement the Sustainable Development Goals in our core business strategy in our organization.
Jadi kami juga bekerja sama juga dengan universitas dan juga kepada lembaga-lembaga lain untuk terus menggaungkan atau mencanangkan dari tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan atau Sustainable Development Goals ini kepada seluruh lapisan masyarakat. Go on.
For example, if you are working SDG 5 gender equality, trying to make empowering women in decision-making positions and having 50-50% of women and male in your organization, you are working SDG 5.
Oke, sebagai contoh, misalkan kita bekerja di sebuah perusahaan yang itu terhadap permasalahan di gender equality, atau ada beberapa misalkan 50% itu adalah karyawannya pria atau 50% karyawannya itu adalah wanita. Gone?
The main achievement as human beings is that for first time ever in 2015 we have 2 global agreements like the Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change.
Dan hal-hal ini juga bisa menunjukkan kita kepada Sustainable Development Goals dan juga kepada perubahan iklim. Go on.
That's the main difference in terms that we have, in terms of globalization, a lot of enterprises, NGOs, public sector. So now the Sustainable Development Goals work like hashtags in public policies.
Oke, sebagai salah satu hal yang sudah dilakukan, mereka sudah banyak melakukan gerakan dengan hashtag, dengan Sustainable Development Goals, dan juga kepada aksi-aksinya di social media maupun yang lain juga. Go on.
For example, if you are working in terms of SDGS 6, clean water, and making, you have an enterprise making an improvement in terms of access to clean water, and you put that in your core business strategy and you communicate that, you could make partnerships globally.
Sebagai contoh, apabila kita berbisnis dan juga mencanangkan, sorry, can you repeat once again?
Yes, if you are working in making an improvement in clean water, SDG 6, and you are communicating that, you can make partnerships globally.
Nah, apabila kita bekerja atau memberikan tujuan yang lebih baik kepada air, untuk memberikan air yang lebih baik, itu sudah menandakan kita untuk bahwa kita sudah melakukan salah satu SDG atau tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan ini. Go on.
And so another organization, you are in Indonesia, you are putting in your communication, we are working at SDG 6, and another organization in Latin America, in Peru, they are saying, we are working at SDG 6, you can connect together and work and make a partnership and complete the SDG 17.
All right, go on.
So that's the main achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. For first time ever, all the human beings, we have the same global goals. This is unprecedented in our human history.
All right, go on.
Okay, I'm going to the next slide. But what is the scenario where we're adopted the Sustainable Development Goals? We are having a main struggle in terms of overconsumption globally. In this slide, I'm showing you how is the Earth Overshoot Day medition.
Dalam slide ini, Analia akan menunjukkan Earth Overshoot Day dari rentang waktu ke waktu. Go on.
In the 70s, the resources of Mother Earth were in a relation in terms of the consumption of the population. So people were consuming the resources that Mother Earth were producing by the end of December.
All right, go on.
But unfortunately, during the 2000s and especially after 2010, this was this switch at the opposite. So nowadays we are over-consuming the resources of Mother Earth. In last year, by 29th of July, we've been over-consuming the resources of Mother Earth that were produced for that year.
All right, go on.
And this year we have the pandemic crisis, and the consumption of the resources of Mother Earth was in August 1st. So the main issue is that we are over-consuming the resources and we don't have a planet B.
All right, go on.
Please, next slide. Thank you. Of course, this consumption in terms of the resources that mothers produce are different in terms of each country. The country that is leading this overconsumption is the United States, and there are different countries that consume these resources. In the case of Indonesia, for example, last year it was by the middle of December. So in terms of the country, you have a good ratio in terms of consumerism and the resources that mothers produce, the planet produce for that year.
All right, go on, Analia.
So the differences between the consumerism between countries are different, and the responsibilities are different too. The next slide, please. But this year, COVID-19 changed the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals, modify
Tapi
the...
Hello, Analia, could you just more slowly? Okay. Jadi pandemi COVID-19 ini memberikan sebuah arahan yang berbeda dalam kondisi SDG. Okay, go on.
So in terms of the no poverty, the SDG 1, COVID-19 affected increasing the number of people losing their jobs, losing the capacity to buy food.
Oke, sebagai contoh di nomor 1 itu ada di no poverty, sedangkan pada saat pandemi ini menciptakan banyak sekali angka kemiskinan yang meningkat. Go on.
Also in terms of the SDG 2, zero hunger, access to food, that was very difficult to sustain. All the logistics were put in shutdown some cities, so that made it difficult for people to get access to food.
Oke, untuk yang nomor 2 itu adalah zero hunger, sedangkan setelah masa pandemi ini membuat semua orang kesulitan untuk mendapatkan makanan dan juga supply logistik. Go on.
This pandemic is really affecting the SDG 3, good health and quality systems of sanitarian, because this is really affecting our hospitals, how the medicine is really having the capacity to solve this pandemic.
Ya, pada saat pandemi ini seperti yang dilihat pada nomor 3, good health and well-being, itu kebanyakan agak sulit untuk memenuhi kapasitas yang diminta akibat kondisi pandemi ini. Go on.
In terms of good quality education, there are different gaps in the access to digitalization, internet in different areas of the planet. So in the case of the kids and the students that they wanted to keep studying during the pandemic, there were a lot of struggles to achieve this SDG.
Dan juga di hal yang keempat itu adalah qualified education, itu tentang bagaimana kita mendapatkan pendidikan yang layak, dan juga namun pada saat pandemi ini dan kita bisa juga melakukannya dengan era digitalisasi atau melakukan segalanya itu pembelajaran melalui jarak jauh atau pembelajaran online. Go on.
SDG 5 was really affected by COVID-19 also because especially women, our nurses, our doctors, they are working in the front line, so they have the 70% of women globally are working in the first front line.
Dan saat ini kondisi setelah pandemi ini pada dokter, tenaga medis itu menjadi sebuah tenaga garda terdepan dalam menangani pandemi ini, dan juga go on.
And of course, there are different situations in cities and the access to water, and there are some struggles in terms of having a clean water to protect your families in terms of COVID-19.
Oke, di hal yang keenam yaitu adalah clean water and sanitation. Pada saat masa pandemik ini membuat orang agak kesulitan untuk mendapatkan air yang layak bagi keluarganya masing-masing. Go on.
Also, in terms of the rest of the SDGs, the pandemic have been affecting the achievement of the targets and every goal. Of course, in terms of SDG 8, economic growth and decent jobs, where we've been losing in every country opportunities of working because the shutdown of the cities.
Dan pada saat masa pandemik ini membuat hal nomor 8 yaitu decent work dan economic growth atau terciptanya sedikit lapangan pekerjaan dan juga melambatnya pertumbuhan ekonomi dari sebuah daerah. Go on.
But the main thing that this pandemic is showing us that the solution it has to come and it has to be made by all together. So SDG 17 is more important here than ever. If we are going to, yeah.
Jadi pada saat masa pandemik ini diharapkan SDG ini bisa menjadi sebuah solusi terhadap masalah yang terjadi saat ini dan gone.
So if we are going to get a solution in terms of a vaccine, we need that this vaccine it has to be affordable for all the people around the globe.
Dan apabila kita memang sedang menunggu vaksin dari COVID-19 ini, kita juga harus memastikan bahwa vaksin ini mudah dijangkau dan juga bisa berguna bagi seluruh masyarakat di dunia. Go on.
The next slide, please. But one of the main issues besides that what we mentioned is this pandemic is also increasing the risk of climate change, and we have that more masks and gloves they are ending in our oceans.
Dan seperti yang kita tahu dan seperti yang kita bisa lihat dalam slide ini, kita malah menemukan banyaknya masker yang terdampar di laut dan gone.
So we have a climate change crisis and a plastic war, and now on we have this pandemic that is increasing the risk of the using of plastic in all the things that we are doing.
Dan saat ini kita tidak saja berhadapan dengan kondisi pandemik, bahkan kita sedang menghadapi tantangan tentang penggunaan plastik yang berlebihan dan juga perubahan iklim yang sangat cepat dan drastis. Go on.
The next slide, please. So right now we have the opportunity to rethink the city that we want and that we need. We've been producing in a way that is not sustainable for the climate change crisis, for the risk of plastics in our oceans, in our ecosystem. And this COVID situation, it gives us the opportunity to rethink the model of our cities, of our way of producing and consuming.
Dan bisa dilihat dalam slide ini, di foto ini, pada saat kondisi normal kita sangat banyak menghadapi permasalahan tentang perubahan iklim, lalu penggunaan plastik yang berlebihan. Namun pada saat masa pandemi atau COVID ini bisa mereduce sedikit atau mengurangi masalah-masalah yang sudah ada pada saat masa normal. Go on.
The next slide, please. So we are proposing a sustainable entrepreneurship platform. We are connecting sustainable entrepreneurs, people who are producing in a different way. If I'm producing a phone case, instead of producing the phone case with plastic materials, the sustainable entrepreneurs are going to produce that phone case with biodegradable and eco-friendly materials.
Dan bisa dilihat dalam foto ini, Analia menawarkan sebuah sustainable entrepreneurs seperti sebuah contoh usaha yang sudah selaras dengan tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan ini seperti casing handphone, lalu ada alat makan, kawan.
So this is a new way of doing social entrepreneurship. This is sustainable entrepreneurship. That means that we are focused.
Ya, ini adalah sebuah contoh seperti sudah dijelaskan tadi untuk menjadi seorang yang pengusaha yang sustainable, yang bisa memenuhi kebutuhan sustainable development goals. Ini adalah contohnya, kawan.
So we are doing a social impact. We are producing with local artisans, with local communities, but also we are taking care not only the raw materials that we are using in the content of our products, but also the packaging. The packaging has to be with no plastic material.
Dan produk-produk ini diciptakan hasil kerjasama dengan komunitas-komunitas yang sudah bekerja sama, dan pastinya raw material atau bahan dasar ini sudah sangat sesuai dengan SDG atau no plastic material, kawan.
In this case, for example, in the picture in the middle, that it seems like huge wood. They are made with recycled plastic materials that it seems like wood, but they are made from plastic that are in our environment.
Dan seperti yang dilihat di foto yang nomor kedua dari atas, itu terlihat seperti sebuah kayu, padahal itu bukan kayu, itu adalah sebuah plastic material yang sudah sangat sesuai dengan SDG tadi, kawan.
The glass that you can see in the picture that it seems made with plastic, it was produced with raw materials, is 100% compostable.
Dan seperti yang dilihat di yang ada cup glass itu, terlihatnya seperti sebuah plastik, ternyata itu merupakan sebuah yang gelas yang disposable atau bisa digunakan kembali, kawan.
The next slide, please. In this case, the brand Worms, that is an Italian brand that they produce sneakers with recycled plastic material.
Dan seperti yang dilihat, ini adalah sebuah sepatu yang... Go on, sorry, can you repeat it?
Yes, this is an Italian brand that they produce sneakers with recycled plastic materials.
Dan ini adalah sepatu ciptaan dari Itali yang merupakan sebuah recycle dari plastik. Go on.
All these companies are making profit. All these companies are being sustainable and aware of the risk of climate change.
Semua perusahaan ini menciptakan sebuah keuntungan dan juga sekaligus berjalan selaras dengan tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan tadi. Go on.
And why these companies are making profits? Because consumerism is changing. Centennials and millennials, they want to buy products produced in a sustainable way.
Dan kenapa perusahaan ini bisa menciptakan sebuah keuntungan? Karena perusahaan ini bisa memberikan edukasi kepada customer-nya, bahwa kepada customer yang berasal dari milenial, itu dengan membeli produknya itu termasuk dengan mengikuti gerakan untuk sejalan dengan tujuan dari SDG. Go on.
These sustainable consumers, these responsible consumers, if I'm going to buy something, I'm going to see how the product was produced, and if they are certified in organic, if they are working with local communities, if they are making an impact in sustainable development goals.
Dan customer-customer ini melakukan pembelian karena tertarik dengan gerakan, yaitu untuk menciptakan dunia yang lebih baik dengan sustainable products yang sudah diciptakan oleh perusahaan-perusahaan tadi. Go on.
So if you are a responsible consumer, you are making an impact in the SDG 12.
Dan apa? Go on.
And if you are producing in a sustainable way, you are also making an impact in SDG 12.
Dan apabila kita bisa menciptakan sebuah produk yang sustainable, maka kita sudah mengikuti atau bisnis kita sudah mengarahkan kepada tujuan dari SDG ini. Go on.
The next slide, please. Well, here I'm showing you that this is really happening also not only with entrepreneurs, it's happening with globally and with huge companies and yes, enterprises. Lego, for example, they are producing with sugar cane by 2030 their Legos. The Guardian is a prestigious new of UK, and they will no longer accept advertising from oil and gas companies. This is a huge change.
Oke, seperti yang ini adalah sebuah contoh gambaran besar, yaitu sebuah perusahaan besar yaitu Lego. Bahkan sebuah perusahaan Lego sudah menciptakan produknya seperti sugar cane untuk menjalankan bisnis mereka agar selaras dengan tujuan SDG pada tahun 2030. Okay, go on.
And now the agenda, like the expert said in Davos, is green. We need a new green agreement in terms of governments, in terms of private sector and civil society.
Okay, go on.
So now we have to change the model of our business, not only making profits no matter how I'm producing. We have a scenario that we have climate change, we have this pandemic, and we need to solve it. And our entrepreneurs that are very innovative, very creative, we have to make a new way of making profits, and that for us is being a sustainable entrepreneur.
Dan diharapkan dengan berbagai masalah yang tengah kita hadapi seperti COVID-19, masalah pandemi, lalu ada masalah penggunaan plastik berlebihan, perubahan iklim yang sangat drastis, diharapkan seluruh pengusaha dapat berinovasi atau bisa tetap terus menjalankan tujuan-tujuan dari SDG ini untuk menjadi seorang pengusaha yang tidak hanya sukses dan juga bisa memberikan impact kepada planet atau kepada kondisi sekitar. Go on.
Okay, the next slide. I think I'm finishing. Yes, we are through the International Council for Small Business. We launched a special issue of the journal of ICSB about sustainable entrepreneurship. I would like to invite you all to enter in the website and see the call of papers that we are doing. We would like to showcase sustainable entrepreneurs globally, how they are making profit in a sustainable way.
Ya, di sini adalah diberikan sebuah web untuk teman-teman agar bisa mengakses apabila ingin tahu informasi lebih lanjut tentang sustainable entrepreneurship dan tentang bagaimana sebuah perusahaan tetap menghasilkan keuntungan walaupun dengan di jalan yang seperti baru gitu ya di Sustainable Development Goals ini. Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for Analia Pastran.
I don't know if there are questions or...
So maybe after this we'll open up the discussion or a question and answer topic, or maybe we can choose the question, or maybe teman-teman buat yang pengen nanya itu bisa banget langsung aja ditulis di kolom komentar dan apa aja yang mau ditanyain. And Analia, as we waiting for the audience to asking us the question, I would like to ask you some question. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. As we know that the goals or the first goals of the Sustainable Development Goals are having 17 goals, just like you mentioned it before, which is, you mentioned it before. And goal number 1 is no poverty. And in Indonesia, per March 2020, this year, we have 26 million people who are living in poverty. And I got this data according from the Central Bureau of Statistics Indonesia atau BPS di tahun 2020. And what is your suggestion for us to handle this? Is it we have to level up our entrepreneurs skill to avoid the poverty? Your thoughts, please. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, there is a role in terms of the ecosystem of entrepreneurship in Indonesia, but also in terms of the responsibility and the duties of the government, because that requires public policies related to give access to food and good education and to end the poverty in your country. And of course, the private sector has an important role in terms of making making the economy growth, and that will make an impact also in those vulnerable sectors. But also I would like to point out that the main role in this case for this global ending of poverty is something that the government has to do with the region, with other countries, because poverty is something that is really affecting all of us. And this pandemic, unfortunately, is increasing the levels of poverty.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And we've got the first question from Rina Haruna for Ramona Kwan. So how about with the SME in Taiwan? How much of them, the category of the SMEs, and how they participating into the campaign for the SDG? Go on. Sorry, I guess you mute the headset. Can you just unmute first? We still cannot hear your voice. Ms. Ramona Guan, could you unmute yourself first? Yeah. Hello, Ramona. Could you hear us or no?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Your voice. Yeah, come on, go on. Your thoughts, please.
I'm
Thank
back.
you.
So basically that right now, most of our SME will register on our government website, and then we'll put our SDGS, the things we really care about, on the website. So most of the company of the SME will put it on. So the government will know which sectors that we are focused.
Oke, I will translate in bahasa. Oke, jadi Ibu Mbak Tomba Rina, kalau di Taiwan itu dia sistemnya meregis sendiri kepada sebuah web, lalu pemerintah atau yang memiliki web tersebut akan mendata kira-kira kategori apa yang sesuai dengan SDG tersebut. So it would practically register with the web in Taiwan, right? So we should register first, and then after that. They will, I know, I get the point. So the next question is Rahmat Kurniawan. Is there any example for affordable housing which is developed by SDG? So maybe Analia Pasron can answer this question.
I'm not sure in Indonesia, but yes, there are different methods made by, for example, in Latin America with different raw materials that are more affordable and sustainable, and they made like blocks with plastic bottles and recycled bottles, and they are made and producing housing. And for example, in Argentina, in Peru, in Ecuador, in Mexico. So yes, this sustainability and this way of recycling, it's giving us the opportunity to produce in a different way housing too, and the main advantage is that mostly this new way of producing housing, they are more smart housing, and they keep better the warmth of the isolation from the environment.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Yeah, please, Ramona Kwan.
And in Taipei and in Taiwan, we have in the city that we have the house for younger generation can rent it from the government. So so it's like kind of like you don't have to really buy the house, but you can rent it from the government. Yeah, the cheaper too.
All right. So we've got the question directly from ours. How if in 2030 we cannot achieve the point in SDG?
That would be a disaster.
That would okay, Ms. Ramonagan, your thoughts, please, first. Thank you.
What if to 2030 we cannot achieve the point of SDG? I don't know. It's like 2020 this year is a big pandemic, and then we should learn from it. And it's not only one country; it's a whole world to work together to solve the problem. And I truly believe that the social entrepreneurs, when we think about our next generation, what kind of the world we want to give to them, and not only one generation, 7 generations, we will think differently, right? So this is like how we do it together.
All right.
Yes,
So maybe another question first. Yeah.
Yes, I would
Yes,
like to add that, of course, we have a challenging scenario. We have this climate change crisis, this COVID-19 situation, and we have just 10 years ahead to change our production and economic system. So that's really challenging. But I think that our generations and youth are really smart. They're really responsible, and I think that we are going to do our main effort to achieve the sustainability that we really want. And perhaps in 2030 we didn't achieve all the sustainable development goals, but probably we are going to do a main change. And I'm very confident about that because I'm working with youth in Latin America. I'm in contact with youth here in USA, in Europe, in Asia, and I'm very confident that if we are really committed with this agenda, we are going to make a huge impact.
Or maybe we still have 10 years left to achieving the 2030 point, or maybe we can stand together and we share, like Ramona Guan just like said before, we have to share the branding matters, and yeah, we have to be strong together to make this campaign work. Yeah. So all right. So what factors that will be accelerate the succeed of SDG in a countries or district, especially in Indonesia? Your thoughts, please, Ms. Analia Pasran.
Okay, first of all, I think that it has to be a first commitment in terms of the government, because the government has more tools and resources to boost this sustainable entrepreneurship ecosystem. And of course, it has to be a commitment in terms of private sector and the civil society. All of us, we are consumerists that if we are going to buy something and it's not produced in a sustainable way, okay, don't buy it. And that company, that entrepreneur, it has to change their business model. And also that is going to be a huge example for the government, because the government has the opportunity to legislate about this, to make the normative and and trying to boost this ecosystem. So in terms of public policy, so I think there's something that we need to think as a systemic response.
Okay, maybe everyone want to go on. Yes, first.
I have, but not only government have to do a lot of work, but I think the most important thing is all of us as a human being from the communities, that from the bottom up, that also work too, because you want to that the government hear our voice and hear the younger generation's voice, and so through the voice, through the communities, through the technology, that we can still make an impact too. So not only the government, everyone need to have the awareness that we have to change. Yeah.
Yeah. Oke, mungkin kesimpulannya, let me speak in bahasa first. Jadi faktor-faktor apa saja yang bisa mempercepat kesuksesan dari SDG ini dalam sebuah negara atau sebuah distrik atau daerah. Yaitu satu yang paling penting memang peran pemerintah itu sangat amat dibutuhkan di sini dalam menentukan kebijakan harus sesuai dengan tujuan dari SDG ini. Lalu menurut Romana Guan, bukan hanya tentang pemerintah saja, tapi kita juga sebagai masyarakat, kita harus menciptakan sebuah komunitas yang bisa didengar suaranya oleh pemerintah. Dan maka dari itu, organisasi kita ini harus kuat dan bisa menciptakan impact atau dampak yang positif terhadap sebuah negara. Alright, or maybe next question in the audience. If you have any question, you can ask. And next question is about the sustainable entrepreneur are our best hope to achieve the SDGs, right? And I've been read in your general overview of Miss Analia Paswan Journal. So what kind of entrepreneurs that will help to achieve the SDGs? What kind of character? I mean, go on.
Well, I think that as I mentioned in the presentation, we have this social entrepreneurship model, but the sustainable entrepreneurship is something more focused in the impact of the ecosystem, not only in the social impact, but also in the environmental impact. Because sometimes someone is producing, I don't know, a hair shampoo with raw materials or with organic benefits, but it was produced with, it was packaging with plastic. So that's something tricky, because in some way you are making an impact because it has raw materials, the content is organic, but the packaging is plastic. So that's something inconsistent in terms of this new way and the huge challenge that we have in terms of the plastic in our oceans, in our ecosystem, that we need to remove from the ecosystem. And so this give, as I show in the presentation, there are different sustainable entrepreneurs that are trying to think their business model with all these components. That it has all this. It has to be transversal. So if you have, if you are producing with local communities, you have in your enterprise 50-50 women and male workers, and so you are impacting also in SDG 5. And if you are collecting water from rainwater, for example, like there is a sustainable entrepreneurship company in Mexico that they are doing this system collecting rainwater from the houses, and they made all the system with sustainable materials. So that's something that, okay, you are impacting SDG 6, but at the same time you are doing it in a sustainable way. So it's you have to think every detail of your business model.
Okay, so Ms. Romana, go on, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I think you mentioned about characters. And I think number one is that you need to have vision to the world. And second is passion. Like being a social entrepreneur, you really have huge passion for the world, for the human too. And third part is that my company probably solving one problem, but how can we collaborate with our companies also solving problems and build ecosystems? And the most important thing is that for the SDGS 17, that if I'm solving problem here in Taiwan, if the solution also can help or support other country, then the other country doesn't have to do it again. That we can just like, hey, collaborate and solve the problem as soon as we can. Yeah. Your turn.
All right. So after this, thank you for the discussion. I will invite Miss Tia. So could you please come up to the stage?
Hi.
Yeah. So interesting discussion. Yeah. I bring this topic in Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia, last year we met in Mexico and we discussed about this in your event, because I realized too that in Indonesia not so many socialize about this SDG in SME. That's why we want to start this socialize. That's why I asking how if, so we will start with end of the mind, yeah, like in the 7 habits. How if in 2030 this SDG is not achieved? So Ramona said that it will be dangerous, yeah. So maybe from that point we will emphasize this more about how this not only trend or lifestyle, but this is really impactful to the better life, to the better world. So thank you. This is from Taiwan and also from New York, and I'm in Indonesia. Analia, I know that in your apartment, in your back is the New York
You,
City, right?
yeah, I want to
Oh, I
see
miss
it. I
New
know.
York.
Lovely city.
So
I
this
miss
really
New
from New
York.
York. Yeah. So I hope this first discussion will bring us to do more as of in SDG 17 for a global partnership, because I want to really bring this mindset, this mindset to the SME here in Indonesia. Jadi teman-teman, saya bawa topik ini karena memang saya lihat di Indonesia belum banyak yang berpikir, usaha-usaha yang berpikir tentang SDG, atau mungkin mereka sudah melakukan, hanya mereka nggak tahu itu sebenarnya related dengan SDG atau enggak. Nah, dengan adanya SDG ambition, ada ambisi SDG, bagaimana kita bisa mempercepat, karena 10 years just tomorrow, right? So 10 years is not so long. So jadi 10 tahun itu cepet banget gitu nanti ya. Jadi kita coba di Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia ini kita coba inisiasi untuk sama-sama kita lebih socialize tentang SDG ini, begitu.
Okay,
So thank you so much. Yeah,
what a nice
Thank you,
discuss
Dia.
or
Thank
sharing
you,
from
both
all
of
of you
you.
guys. What a nice insight, and we hope we can succeed
Hey,
implementation of SDG in Indonesia.
Yeah,
Thank
you so
Oke,
much.
Budia izinkan saya mengakhiri. I would like to say thank you very much for your support to attending our Festival Entrepreneur in Indonesia and become our expert speaker for tonight. And I hope our discussion will bring us to the best future, especially improve our businesses. Dan catatan untuk dalam materi ini, dalam menjadi seorang entrepreneur bukan hanya tentang mendapatkan keuntungan atau kehidupan yang layak saja, namun tentang bagaimana kita memberikan dampak dan impact yang positif terhadap bumi pertiwi, bumi Indonesia, serta dunia. I would like to say thank you for the audience who already tuned in from beginning to an end of this topic for tonight. Dan ya, kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada para peserta yang sudah ada dari awal hingga akhir topik ini. Dan jangan lupa besok kami masih ada untuk memberikan materi-materi yang tidak kalah keren untuk meleverage dan memperkuat bisnis skill kamu. Jadi jangan sampai telat dan ketinggalan. Mungkin Budia akan melanjutkan.
Saya mau cerita I want to share a story about the festival. This begin on 2017. So this is our fifth, but our first in virtual. Yeah. But thanks of the virtual, so I can invite you from Taiwan, from New York, and tomorrow we have a guest speaker also from Turkey, and also from Macau, also from France, Mexico. Together we are in this festival. So this festival will be 25 hours. So I will be in the backstage since this morning until tomorrow. So I hope 6 Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia, you can come all to Indonesia, because we have planned actually, Analia, you will come to Indonesia, but because of this pandemic, we do it virtual. So thank you so much, and let's continue our cooperation. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Terima kasih setinggi-tingginya untuk Miss Analia Pastran dari Executive Director Smartly New York, Miss Ramona Guan dari Share for Impact Taiwan, dan tentunya host kita yang luar biasa, Mas Razi Muhammad yang sudah membantu juga untuk mentranslate. Teman-teman, hari pertama alhamdulillah sudah selesai. Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia kelima, hari pertama sudah kita akhiri dengan baik dan lancar. Semoga di hari pertama ini semua bisa mendapatkan insight, mendapatkan actionable insight ya, bukan cuma sekedar insight, tapi memang benar-benar bisa diimplementasikan dalam bisnis atau kehidupannya sehari-hari. Ingat, ini belum berakhir ya, baru hari pertama nih ya. Besok hari kedua akan ada lagi pembicara-pembicara yang akan melengkapi hari pertama ini. So besok kita, sebentar ya, saya lihat schedule. Besok kita mulai tepat jam 9.30 dengan bahasan Creativity, Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Leadership. Pembicaranya dari Marcus Institute dan seterusnya sudah ada di grup Telegram, nanti dilihat saja. Jadi sampai jumpa besok di hari kedua Festival Entrepreneur Indonesia kelima. Tetap bersatu menguat.
Berkibarlah bendera negeriku, berkibarlah engkau di dadaku, tunjukkanlah kepada dunia semangatmu yang panas membara.
Daku ini, jiwa raga ini, selaraskan keanggunan. Daku ini, jemariku ini, menuliskan kata selalu.
Berkibarlah bendera negeriku, berkibar di luas nuansamu, tunjukkanlah kepada dunia ramah tamah budi bahasamu.
Daku ingin kepatangan ini menunaikan kewajiban putra bangsa yang mengemban cipta hidup dalam kesatuan.
Berkibarlah selalu bendera negeriku, menghias langit biru, oh Indonesiaku. Tunjukkan dirimu kepada dunia dan torehkan warnamu di dalam dada.
Berkibarlah bendera negeriku, berkibarlah engkau di dadaku, tunjukkanlah kepada dunia semangatmu yang panas membara. Bangsa yang menangkan cita dalam kesatuan.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.